Welcome to the Talking Michigan Transportation Podcast. I'm Jeff Cranston. This week, I wanted to reprise a conversation I had about a year and a half ago with two iron workers, one from the U.S. and one from Canada, who shook hands at the center of the Gordie Howe International Bridge when that final connection was made. Obviously, there's still some punch list work left to do before the bridge can open, but it was a cool moment. I don't know if it's correct to call something that's like 19 months old iconic, but it does seem like it quickly became a viral sensation. Both had interesting histories as iron workers and seemed to really feel the moment and how historic it was for them to be there to have that handshake. So I hope if you didn't hear it before, you enjoy the conversation. And if you have already heard it, you enjoy it again. Again, as I mentioned in my introduction, I have the privilege of talking to two iron workers today who have had the distinct honor of playing an important role in building the Gordie Howe International Bridge. And they've been somewhat made into celebrities because of an iconic photo of each of them shaking hands. Casey Whitson, who is a Michigan iron worker, was representing the U.S. in that handshake. And Jason Huggett, who is an iron worker from Canada. And what's really interesting about this is they're both second generation iron workers, and both of their fathers worked on similarly iconic structures. In Casey's case, his father worked on the Renaissance Center in Detroit and also Joe Louis Arena. And Jason's father worked on the second span of the Blue Water Bridge, which connects Canada and U.S. at Port Huron and Sarnia. Thank you both for being here. Let me start with you, Jason, and hopefully the audience will be able to distinguish your voices. I think I can tell the difference. But what does it mean to you to be able to work on something this high profile?
It truly is amazing, Jeff. I've worked a lot of big jobs, but nothing as big as this, connecting two countries together. The views on this job have been better than almost any other job I've been on. It's an amazing accomplishment.
Do you imagine in your lifetime you'll ever work on anything as significant as this again?
Probably not as significant, no. I was thinking about going up to BC. That bridge is going up there, and it's actually similar to this one, just a lot smaller scale.
Talk a little bit about your background. You're based on your phone number, I get the feeling you're originally from Regina?
No, I just spent 10 years there, and to be honest, the phone's a lot cheaper going with Saskatchewan and Ontario.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, so I've been in the ironworkers for 20 years now. I've worked all across Canada, met all kinds of people. Lots of good memories, lots of big jobs. It's hard never to home sometimes, but you always got to make a name for yourself in this trade, as Casey knows. Like, the only thing you got is your name in this trade.
Yeah. So, Casey, same for you, I guess. Talk a little bit about your background. Again, you're second generation, and it seems like you see that a lot with iron workers, actually, that there's a generational tie there. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, typically, back in the day, you were either family or you knew somebody that was in the trade. So I wasn't much of a college student. So I just followed in my dad's footsteps and just became an iron worker.
And tell me when this first got on your radar. I mean, it was 20 years in the making, planning, politics, which still play a factor in this. It's gone by 3 different names. It was the new International Trade Crossing. It was the Detroit River International Crossing, and finally settled on the Gordie Howe International Bridge. When did you first come aware of the project?
Probably about 4 years ago when they first started breaking ground. I heard about it. I was actually going to stay away from the job because I work a lot in the steel mills and the power plants and the car plants, maintaining all that, and haven't done a lot of big structural jobs. And my BA just called me about 2 years ago now, actually to the month. It was like, hey, I'd like for you to come out and work on that bridge. And so I said, all right, I'll come out here. And it's been quite a couple of years now.
So talk a little bit first, Jason, about exactly what your day holds for the most part, and what your work has been and is, and then same for you, Casey.
Well, a typical day, we start 6 a.m. You know, you go through protocols, safety meetings, toolbox talks, all your harness inspections. And then you get up there and you just get to work. So the last few days, we've been taking out the struts between the towers. As Casey and the guys took theirs out a while ago now. So by 7 o'clock, you're up in the air, crane hooked on, and you're starting a demo, really. Got torches going up there. And then you'll be up there could be all day, right? We have 2 breaks, but if you're stuck in the middle of the lift, then you can't go nowhere until that piece is on the ground. So usually we're done at 4 o'clock, but there is lots of overtime on this job, so there's always something going on, never ending.
So Casey, same to you, I guess. When you get home, and I don't know if you have kids or your spouse or your friends, and ask you, "Hey, what'd you do today?" How do you describe it?
I always tell them I'm building a bridge. Yeah. No, it all depends on, what aspect that we're doing. Like right now I'm working on the side of the bridge, what's called the cladding, and we're putting on the steel that goes on the side to kind of close the structure up a little bit. So that's what my days consist of right now. Like in the beginning of the project, I was part of the connecting crew and then the bolt up crew too. So I'd put the iron up, then fall back and start bolting it up, tightening it all up and getting it all lined up right.
So how has it been for you guys to bridge the gap, so to speak, between, the international barriers? I mean, I often have joked with my Canadian counterparts as we've talked about this project and been on meetings for years now that we speak the same language, but we don't. So one of you guys thinks in feet and one of you guys thinks in meters. How do you get through that?
Well, I know metric from doing install at the car plants and stuff, but I mean, I hear Jason talking about feet and inches just as much as I do. So I'm not sure on exactly how much metric they use over there on this particular project, but.
Interesting. What were you going to say, Jason?
Yeah, it's pretty well the same. Like I'm 40, so I got a little bit of age on Case. I can do both just like him. So it really comes down to the engineering in the bridge, like the standard that we're going to use, right? Metric or imperial.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
All depends on what the print says, how the print's written out.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And sometimes you have to interpret and sometimes you don't, I suppose.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it always changes too. It's not always the same.
Oh, I'm sorry. How did each of you get chosen for this incredible photograph?
I just luck of the draw for me. I mean, we were just making that last connection. I just asked the guys, "Hey, you guys don't mind if I go out and cut that loose?" And they were like, "Nah, go ahead." I mean, it was no big deal at the time, but now it kind of is a big deal.
Oh, it's a huge deal. Yeah. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, it's been talked about on our side since we started, really. It came down to me and my partner in the beginning, but my partner moved up to foreman as we needed another foreman. So I was next in line, and there it was, called every piece in. So you pretty well get that honor. And to be honest, like on our side, we only had 2 journeymen to 6 apprentices. So it was tough some days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've shared it, I'm sure, probably on social media and with friends and family. What's the reaction you each get from people when they see the photo?
My dad actually teared up when he seen the picture.
I'll bet.
So it actually meant something. It's really special.
Yeah,
that's very cool. What about you, Casey?
It's pretty much the same thing. My old man, he called me up, and I could hear how proud he was. Stuff, and stuff like that. And I got him a copy of that picture that was in the newspaper, and I gave that to him for Father's Day. I gave one to Jason too.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
We will continue the conversation right after a quick break. Did you know Newton's first law of motion states that a body in motion will continue moving at the same speed and same direction, while the second law states that an object acted upon by the force will undergo...
Wait, I thought this was a snowplow safety message.
It is, which is why this is relevant.
Don't you think that's complicating things just a bit?
Not at all. A snowplow weighs 17 times more than your average car.
Right, and snowplows tend to travel at slower than posted speeds.
So the third law states that action and reaction are equal and opposite.
I think it's easier just to remind motorists to give plows the room they need to do their jobs. Follow at a safe distance and don't drive into snow clouds. Things like that.
Well, if you're gonna make it that simple, why don't you just say, don't crowd the plow?
Great idea. Stay safe this winter. Don't crowd the plow.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
So we're still on track for opening, hopefully about a year from now, probably September of 2025. You guys feel good about hitting that target?
Pretty sure we'll be done. It's going to be all the other trades, getting all the electricians and the plumbing and all them guys getting all their stuff buttoned up, because, the iron workers will be close. We'll probably be one of the first trades done, considering, we got to put the structure up before everybody else has a job. So
that's a good point.
Pretty well the same as our side. They'll be playing with those cables and tensioning them and stressing them for a while, but until the other trades get in there, there's a lot of work that electricians and the steam fitters got to do, or sprinkler fitters, sorry. But the iron workers will definitely be done.
So, what do you have any idea at this point? I'll start with you, Casey. Like, what you'd be moving on to next? Do you think you'd be going back to doing work at the plants, or do you see yourself working on another bridge or piece of transportation infrastructure?
I'll probably stay local. I'll probably head over the Cleveland Cliffs and go back to maintaining that place, with whatever company feels like hiring me, or, wherever there's good work, at the car plants or whatever. That's my plan, at least for now.
This is probably a very good time to have your skills. You're probably eminently employable, I'll bet.
Well, I got quite a few years in the trade, so there's that too.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason, what about you?
Yeah, the same. There's that BC bridge job, which I've been thinking about, and there's a job 30 minutes from my house, a battery plant. I haven't been home in 6 years, so I'd like to be home, but you never know with this job where you're going to end up.
Where is home again?
Home is Brights Grove, Ontario.
Okay.
It's outside of Sarnia.
So when you talk about, are you saying a BC project? You're talking about a British Columbia bridge?
Yes, British Columbia in Victoria. They're doing another cable stay bridge.
That is state of the art now, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. In my eyes, they look a lot better than the older style. A lot more work to it, but definitely looks better.
Yeah, that's probably gonna, for people like Casey and me, Michigan people, that's probably gonna land with a bit of a harsh thud for a lot of people, because we've been so proud of the Mackinac Bridge for so long, and we stamp it on our license plates. And a suspension bridge is certainly beautiful in its own way, but there is something about these cable stay bridges, especially at night when they're lit up, that really gets you if you like bridges.
Yeah, this bridge has lights all over it. I'm sure Casey's side, they're putting all the lights on the cladding on the outside. This whole thing is going to be lit right up.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. So what do you think, Casey? What if you run into somebody that actually worked on the Mackinac Bridge and you tell them yours is cooler? What are you going to say?
I would never. Unfortunately, one of the last iron workers that did work on the Mackinac Bridge, he just died this year. And but yeah, I don't think he would agree with me. I think he'd say his bridge was a little more beautiful.
In my previous life as a journalist in 1997, we took an iron worker up to the Mackinac Bridge who had helped build it in 1957, and he was in his late 70s at the time. And he had no problem going right up the elevator and walking out there on the platform and, looking around at the straits. I mean, you talk about a beautiful view. It's always amazed me that I guess if you're not born with any fear of heights, you never get any fear of heights, because that guy wasn't bothered a bit by that. And you probably run into people who are.
Oh yeah, you run into iron workers who are afraid of heights, believe it or not. I mean, it just happens. But you get over it though. You ain't got a choice. You either got to make the money or you don't.
Interesting. Yeah.
True.
What do you say, Jason?
That's very true.
Well, like what I always tell people, I really don't look past my feet when I'm walking around up on the iron. You know what I mean? I'm not staring at the ground when I'm, walking. So you kind of really don't pay attention how high you are unless you really look around.
So I guess lastly, let's talk a little bit about what you'll take away from this when you're talking about this, 20 years from now. Let's start with you, Jason. What do you think will be your most significant memory from the project?
Well, definitely the handshake is probably the most iconic, but just the crew I had was a lot of work. Everybody coming together to make it safe, done. Like, there's a lot going on this job. Big lifts, cranes everywhere, people everywhere. It's just amazing nobody was really hurt in the process of this job. So basically, besides the handshake, the crew I had, the views I had up there, like Casey was saying, that top of that tower is like 780 feet. You can see for miles. That's definitely something I'll take away from it.
Yeah, that's something I talked to you a little bit about, Casey. You've got your dad helped build the Renson, which for decades has been the tallest building in Detroit and tallest building in Michigan, obviously. And technically, the towers of the Gordie Howe will be higher, right? So you got that to hold over him.
Yeah, just a little bit higher by mere feet, but yeah, they're a little bit taller than a Renaissance Center. So it took me a long time to achieve that, but I finally did.
So talk a little bit about what your memory will be, and what do you think you'll be talking about most, decades to come?
Oh yeah, so kind of like what Jason said, getting that first handshake. And you've been sitting here watching these guys work across the river from you for all this time, and you think you're never going to get there, and then like the last couple of sections that we ended up setting, it's like all of a sudden we were in the middle. It was like, wow, that happened quick. When for all the build up for so long, you're so far apart. So that was cool.
Sounds like yeah. I was going to say, it sounds like the calculations were all good too, because things lined up right from the start, right?
Yeah. Canada's side of the bridge, they can move their bridge in and out. I know that sounds crazy, but they've got a hydraulic system that they could move the bridge in and out. So that kind of helped with getting it all lined up right, with that final piece of iron.
Yeah, well, I think that one of the reasons I'm so intrigued by that photo, not just because it's beautifully composed and everything about it is very cool, but it also because it signifies the peace between our countries. And there's a monument at a community called Put-in Bay, which is on South Bass Island in Lake Erie, not far from Toledo, where Commodore Perry fought the British, and they put up a monument that's a peace monument between Canada and the U.S. But I think this bridge is going to serve as every bit the same symbol of peace. So I think you can both feel pretty good about that.
It's to be part of this project is just unbelievable. I still can't believe, working on this bridge and being a part of this project and everything that's happened. It's just been a really cool experience, man. I never ever thought I'd ever do anything like this.
Oh, that's great. Thanks a lot, Casey. Jason, anything you want to say to close?
No, all good. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you both. I'd like to thank you once more for tuning in to Talking Michigan Transportation. You can find show notes and more on Apple Podcasts or Buzzsprout. I also want to acknowledge the talented people who help make this a reality each week, starting with Randy Debler, who skillfully edits the audio, Jesse Ball, who proofs the content, Courtney Bates, who posts the podcast to various platforms, and Jackie Salinas, who transcribes the audio to make it accessible to all.